to Canada, or should I call it Shinada? Been calling it Shinada for a long time now. Over to Canada. And this is a really interesting one. A billionaire from China now owns 28 Hudson's Bay's leases. But what about the Toronto flagship? So it's going to be called Liu? New Bay? Liu? So here's the thing about this, and I want to clear this up with you guys. On social media for the last week, Canadian billionaire buys buys Hudson's Bay. Canadian billionaire woman buys Hudson's Bay. Canadian billionaire from BC woman buys Hudson's Bay. Canadian woman. Who the hell has $1 billion that's Canadian in Canada? Right?
You can.
And
put the phone to your ear.
But who has, so I'm looking at this, then I look at the image. This lady is not Canadian. And I'm not making fun of her. It's because the headlines all over the place where Canadian woman or Canadian billionaire woman buys Hudson's Bay. Makes no sense. So I looked at that and I was like, huh? I'm not even Canadian. I put down Canadian on a resume for nationality. They'll arrest me. Anyways, let's keep going here. Toronto. New home sales crashed 72% to a record low. And people that bought up top and competed with money laundering from China, good luck. A lot of people that came in 2021 from India jumped on the ladder to buy real estate, and now they're going to be paying for it. And the Greater Toronto Area real estate downturn continued with new homes last month. Data shows April was the worst month for new home sales on record. Lofty inventory and a weak demand continue to apply downward pressure. And I read an article, I was reading some stats from you guys earlier in a video this morning. There's about 600 to 800 Chinese coming in per month from the United States. They need to escape the evil Donald Trump. So Chinese nationals that were born in China, raised in China, but came to America buying a gold passport or gold green card or gold whatever, laundered a pile of money through America, and now they're selling their assets in America, and they're coming right. They're coming right to Canada to spend that money. And the Canadian government is grinning right now, ear to ear grinning with that money coming in. Bring it in. Impoverish the middle class of Canada. They built it, but they can't participate in it. And this is a really sad story here out of Durham region here in Canada. Security video shows allegedly armed teen appearing to look for a victim. So an armed teen was walking around this suburban town area here, and Durham Regional Police homicide detectives are reviewing a video of an accused teen stabbing killer casing the street prior to the slaying. That cop sources say they had a look and feel of predators searching for prey. So going up and down the street, imagine doing some gardening in your house, your little quaint little home here, taking care of business, and there's flowers on the road here, on the front yard there for you guys to see. There it is right there. Rest in peace. That's where she passed. Sad. And you try to put the prick in jail that did this. Oh, he's got rights, don't do this. And then he does a GoFundMe, and he makes 200 grand. That's the bullshit we're living in. He makes 200 grand. What do you think is going to happen when people can't afford to buy food? 200 grand. And again, here it is again. 14-year-old charged with first-degree murder of elderly woman in Pickering, Ontario. That's in Durham region, guys. 14-year-old boy from Pickering has been charged with first-degree murder after elderly woman was stabbed to death on Thursday afternoon. That woman paid her way through life, paid taxes, probably fought in a war, probably busted her hump to retire and work on her garden. So the victim was named in court on Friday, but is being withheld from publication at the family's request. Of course, they're going to hide it because they don't want... the victim, sorry, was named. But okay, Yeah, lots of respect to the family, prayers to the family, and send our prayers to the family and condolences to the family. But there's no information about the guy. You can't see what the guy looks like because it's Canada, right? And what do we tell you here? We told you a lot here. Oh boy, did we ever. Stabbings and knife violence set to skyrocket in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Let's look at the data 2 years ago. Stabbings are going up in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Migrant invasion destroying communities. Trudeau's online speech monitoring stabbing out of control. Trudeau's climate plan makes no sense. So we were warning you guys about knife crimes. We're going to start seeing an uptick here because we're following the trend from the UK and England, where they get 30 to 40,000 stabbings a year in England alone, depending on what region you're in too. And Canadian consumer insolvencies only surpassed by 2010 and 2020 peaks. And it goes on to say the Canadian economy may be outperforming, but the households are getting slaughtered. Again, it's at the household, people. The latest data from the Office of Superintendent of Bankruptcy shows consumer insolvency surged in March. The 12-month volume has reached levels only seen during 2010 and 2020. And Canadian consumer insolvencies may see a second wave surge. Canadian consumer insolvencies now rival 2010 and 2020 peaks. There it is right there. There we go. We're starting to peak out back to 2010. 2010 in Canada is when they passed the Vancouver model, allowing foreign nationals from China to launder their money. And once they brought in, this got down here because banks were lowering interest rates to like 1% and 0%. So Canadians could compete. And right here, around this time, 2016, is when you got the first-time home buyer loans. And then here you got a little bit of relief, but then it goes back up, and then it drops because of the C19. Remember the sickness? There it is. It dropped. Because remember, we told you guys, they have to shut things down. They're going to have to pull the trigger on the pandemic. Look at the financial mess we're in. And now we're back, and here it is. Back to 2020. Back to 2020 is what we're at right now. Back to 2010 levels. Away we go. This is major if you're living in Canada. And paying mortgage into retirement. Here's how you could plan your finances. Move to Costa Rica. Retire in Canada. Honest, hardworking families can't even exist in this country anymore. Unless they're cheating and stealing. Private sector families. Mom and pop shops. Can't afford it. So there it is. Paying a mortgage into retirement. Here's how you can plan your finances. My suggestion is leave the country. Canada Post asks job ministers to direct union to vote on final offers. So again, our postal company is going on strike again, folks. Here is why. Because we told you so. Mike in the night, public sector workers cannot live in their own cities. Postal, police, and teachers. 5 years, 9 months ago. Canadian economy too dependent on public sector jobs. Nearly 9 out of 10 jobs created in 2021. It's unsustainable. Ireland needs to take itself back. Public sector jobs in America now grow as American Weekly jobless claims rise back above 700K. So we were warning you guys, junk employment data 7 years ago. We were warning you guys about how the public sector employees can't even afford to live in their own cities. All right, we got a very important message from Johnny LaRue here.